Yo, Rush Limbaugh is on point. Today is Monday, and it is 13 April 2020. I am one Sir Grove. This is C4CW Casting 495 Celebrities Worldwide. If you are true fans of this show, then we 495 most certainly appreciate you. Notice the cadence, notice the buildup. You were like, man, Grove, man, he usually just like comes through like, man, what's up? But then he was like kind of mellow in that like beginning, you know, that like opening of the show. Man, what's up with that like Grove style, like energy and shit? It's because I'm chilling, man. I'm doing the assessment. And by the way, this spring, April showers bring May flowers. That didn't even sound right. That was way discordant. April showers bring May flowers. That's a little bit more like Grove style. I'm a huge fan of Seth MacFarlane. Shout outs to Seth MacFarlane. Only thing is, he's, if I'm not mistaken, liberal, which is cool. I'm still a huge fan. I just wish that he would not have given a single fucking penny to Barack Obama's campaign. To my chagrin. But that being said, April showers, man, there was a tremendous downpour this morning. It looked, I don't want to say near apocalyptic because I'm not a pessimist. It just looked fucking crazy. I was like, wow, for real, Edgar Casey's prophecy that like the East Coast will be under fucking water. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? Got to dial that back, figure out a way through super science to make sure that doesn't happen. But I could see how he fucking saw that shit remote viewing wise. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, the downpour, listen, I understand some people are in hurricane zones, tornado alley, you know what I'm saying? And whatever that is, if I'm mistaken, sorry about that. In terms of, is it hurricane alley or tornado alley? I thought I don't know, you know. Things get switched around in quantum entanglement. If I'm mistaken, I apologize. But that is, again, not to minimize or downplay anyone who's been adversely, negatively impacted by those types of events. Nonetheless, in the context of here, this shit was nuts. Water levels were like rising and shit. And I'm like, damn, our car is going to just start floating across the landscape. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was fucking crazy. It's pretty normal here, though. That's been the norm here. Like, so I've been here for over 15 years now. 5 years. Maybe I just didn't notice it for the first 5 years. I swear it didn't start happening until like 10 years after I was here. So, but the point of this episode today, this evening, tonight, wherever you are in the multiverse, we have to look at these fucking goddamn coronavirus numbers. Rush Limbaugh is actually on EIB network right now, and I'd love to be listening to Rush right now, which I have been all day since he started the show, and he's just like knocking it out the park, like one after another, and I like grand slam. I mean, man, Rush is fucking on fire. These coronavirus numbers across the board, I think we all know at this point, as we've seen a drop in the numbers from previous day to today, and was the case yesterday with the previous day to yesterday, and going back since the numbers started to drop. I think it's abundantly clear at this point, or at least it should be, to folk that the numbers don't add up in terms of what Dr. Fauci was mumbling about. He flip-flopped. He changed his fucking story from, and this is what Rush is pointing out. Rush Limbaugh's been pointing this out, and I too and many others have been talking about this. Donald Trump, I know there's a remote chance in time, space, time. I know that it's very remote out of the myriad shows, podcasts, broadcasts. You're probably not listening to one Sir Grove. I'm an outrageous rap artist. I play the role of eccentric. Just saying, who knows? What are the chances? What are the odds? Donald Trump, Mr. President, Donald J. Trump, POTUS, sir. I mean that with all respect due to you, if you are listening to this podcast, which again, chances are nil, extremely remote, but if through some means, somehow, some way, you were to hear what I am about to say, sir, with all respect, and I mean this sincerely, please kick fucking motherfucking Dr. Fauci to the goddamn curb, sir. Please get him the fuck out and away from your administration. He's bad business. He has ulterior motives. He has a hidden agenda. I sense that as a remote viewer. There's something funny about this motherfucker's shit. He went from downplaying the pandemic and possibility thereof to flip-flopping and basically projecting that Americans stay home almost fucking indefinitely. Now, I know. He talks about, well, if we were to, say, reopen in, God, who knows, at least, the end of, next forever, there's something fishy about this motherfucker, sir. Please, do not go for the rope-a-dope. Do not go for the hook, line, sinker. This dude is deep state. He is absolutely deep state. He has deep state written all over him. And I know. I've heard the two of you supposedly get along and there's some synergy there. Sir, don't believe it. False data. Shake the Jake. Because he is a fucking liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. A liar. And I can seize a Jake from a zillion eons away, sir. And that's the end of my report to you. So, audience, again, no BS, no bull malarkey, no bull crap. This Dr. Fauci, it's very clear, very obvious to us that he has a hidden agenda. And he's part of deep state, and he's trying to keep Donald Trump's economy otherwise booming, soaring, roaring. He's attempting to have it tamped down. And if he could, stamped out. So yeah, man, he wants to stamp it out. They want to stomp on it. They want to clamp down on it. And if you haven't figured it out already, man, look, we could go through all these different iterations, all these different instances, all these different numbers down the dimensional timeline pathway. We could spend all fucking day looking at data sets and information that on the surface might seem trivial, might just seem like some mundane information, just like innocuous, like not even anything to like raise an eyebrow. I attest to you, folks, that it is my observation that this current time frame in terms of the coronavirus, there's something really staged up, something really doctored up about it. There's something really fucking phony about it. The numbers don't jibe. They keep revising the numbers every chance they get. How is Dr. fucking goddamn Fauci an expert if he goes from telling you it's something you don't have to worry about to it's something that you have to worry about to 2 million fucking people are going to die to 60,000 or less people are going to die? Like, how are you a fucking expert? And then on top of that, telling Americans that they need to stay home. And you have some fucking motherfuckers saying that you need to stay home for 18 months now. 18 months. These people are two things: out of touch with reality and deep state. You have the people who are deep state and know the truth, and they know that you don't need to stay home for 18 months. They know that you never really needed to fucking stay home in the first place. And then you have the people who are paranoid, insane. They've lost their fucking minds with all this social distancing and wearing this and that. And one day they weren't wearing the shit, then the next day they are wearing the shit, because you got jakes like Fauci flip-flopping, ambivalent, changing the story. Oh yeah, you don't need gloves, so go out and expose yourself. Go out and go on a cruise ship. You'll be fine. It's nothing Americans or anybody in the world really needs to truly worry about. You don't need gloves. You don't need respirators. You don't need masks. You don't need ventilators. You don't need any type of personal protective equipment, PPE. You don't need any of that shit. Just go and enjoy yourselves. There's a very ultra low risk to Americans. And then the next day, you need gloves. You need masks. You need this. You need that. These people are not fucking real experts. These people are fucking clowns. These people are quacks. They're wackadoos. They're whack jobs. They're nut jobs. These people are fucking lunatics. But of course, you know, when you have people who eschew, that is, they're against the idea notion of working in government, well, then the government hires fools like fucking Fauci. That's why, listen, I am glad Donald Trump is president. My question is, why hasn't Bill Gates ever been president? Why wasn't, what's another example? Even though Bill Gates is on the left, he's one of the only dudes on the left who I would trust as president of the United States. I'm just simply saying, one of a handful of personalities and personas in the world where I don't think Bill Gates would fuck up the world. I just don't think Bill Gates would fuck up the globe. And I'm not someone who embraces the left, but I like Bill Gates. I have friends who are liberal. We can agree to disagree. But there's a different other totally fucking fucked up brand of liberal. There's another liberal data set, category, group, type. And you know who I'm talking about. We're not going to go into socialism, Marxism, communism. We all know as adults what it is, what it's about, what their agenda is, what their fucking plan is. And I don't think Bill Gates is part of that plan. I think he's a rational dude who has some liberal tendencies, and hopefully one day he'll become conservative Republican. That being said, listen, my larger point is that he is someone, that is Bill Gates, who has been following the journals of disease pandemics and global outbreaks and viruses and so on and so forth. So he's been tracking this stuff, and he has billions of dollars and has been focused on these matters and these issues. And if you took someone at CIA or at MI6 and or, you know, government communications headquarters, GCHQ or NSA or any of these different top level agencies in any government around the world, people who sit at a desk, they sit at these desks, and their job as analysts is to monitor, their jobs are to monitor these types of global activities, these types of phenomena. Bill Gates could rival any of them. He's brilliant. He has been the world's richest, wealthiest person on the planet. And given just those two things, he has the time and the money and the intellect, the brilliance to sit back and look at these things in remote view. He can see with his mind's eye things that people a lot of times just don't have the time, money, energy to sit back and observe for as long as he can and has. So I respect Bill Gates in that way. On the flip side of that, on the other hand, you have people who are literally trying to destroy America. They're trying to keep America closed. They're trying to fool Donald Trump. They're trying to fuck with his mind. They're trying to pretend like they're friends and that they're on his side and that they're with him and that they have his administration's and America's best interests at heart and in mind, and they don't. They're liars. They're fucking deceivers. And I don't understand why these people, are they in that lane? No, I guess they're not in that lane. That's an open lane. My fault. Parallax view, you know what I'm saying? Optical illusion. I thought someone was in that lane and just wasn't taking that right turn. I just have to be cognizant of that. So, and I stand corrected. For once in a fucking zillion eons, that's actually an unoccupied lane. You know what I mean? Because there's not as much traffic out on the road. But there needs to be more fucking traffic out on the road. And I'm going to keep this under 20 minutes, and I'm going to stick to that this time. If I want to talk more about this subject topic, then I can just fucking flip on another podcast episode. But I'm going to keep this under 20 minutes. So, the information that we've been provided about social distancing, apparently it's wrong, according to some sources. Some people say it should be 9 feet as opposed to 6. If it's only been 6 feet, but it was supposed to be 9 feet, then that means that everyone who was doing 6 feet, shit wasn't even fucking correct in the fucking first place. Secondly, there are reports and indications that social distancing doesn't really truly do anything to stop these types of phenomena. In other words, the current pandemic or whatever it is, bioweapon outbreak, unleashed, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe, whatever your thoughts are, some people have said that they don't think that all of these things that people and businesses and organizations, governments have been doing to mitigate, they don't think that it's for real. They just think that the shit's made up. And they think that if, like anything, like the chicken pox when you're a kid, you're going to get the fucking chicken pox. No matter what, you're going to get the fucking chicken pox. Like 99% of people are going to get the chicken pox. I don't know what the actual number is, but I know it's a very large number. And you want to get the chicken pox, is what science says, when you're a kid. Because if you get it when you're a senior, it can fucking kill you. So, there are people who have said, experts, that, and listen, I'm just saying what they're saying. They've said you want to get the coronavirus. And a lot of people have already had coronaviruses. And they just don't know that they've had coronaviruses. And some experts are saying that you want to get this one. Listen, that's them. I'm just saying. That's what some people other than Dr. fucking Jake-ass deep state Fauci with his hidden agenda and ulterior motives, some experts are saying the coronavirus is some normal shit. You want to get it so that in the future you have an immunity to it. And 98% of people recover from it. And if you look at the number of those who have been infected with it and the people who have died by it because of it as a result, if you look at that total output yield, if you look at that data set in its entirety, and you contrast that with the flu. I know some people don't want to hear about the flu because they think that talking about the flu in relation to the COVID-19 situation is that it's some type of Republican conservative agenda. The only reason they say that is because they know that it's a valid fucking point and that the flu eclipses and overshadows COVID-19 outbreak. So I'm using it as an example. I have no qualms about using it as an example. If you look at the flu and its numbers, 38 million to an upward of 65 million. Some numbers show 65 million people have been infected with the flu, and they had no fucking idea. Some of them. They just had the flu. Minor, mild symptoms, and they didn't go to the doctor, and then weeks later they were like, yo, I think I may have had a touch of the flu. Because those symptoms that they're describing, I had that, and I just didn't go to the doctor. 65 million. Let's go back to the 39 million, which is what CDC said. 39 million-ish Americans, almost 40 million Americans had the flu last season. 646,000 globally died. I've talked a lot about that. A great deal about that, regarding that. Just those numbers alone are Carl Sagan numbers and stratospheric. So, we're nowhere near that with the coronavirus. 1 million people have been infected, but there certainly haven't been nearly 1 million people dead, 646,000. And Dr. Fauci's new estimates are that only 60, and I'm not saying that I'm saying only. They're saying 60,000 now will likely die. 60,000 is still, 60,000 is nowhere near 646,000 dead. That's my point.